follows an extract from my book Fête Fatale, available from Amazon. Chapter 9, Part 1. The ladies met as usual for their regular Women's Institute meeting, and the gents whiled away their loneliness at the Badger. Nathaniel had acted the gentleman in volunteering to stay home with Primrose for the entire evening so that Emma could accompany the ladies to the pub for the night. At the meeting, the evening once again began with tea and cake before May called the ladies to order and asked them to take their seats for Jerusalem and the commencement of business. First of all, I would like to thank everybody for their hard work over the last few weeks and probably even months. The fête was a huge success. As ever, Darcy has been the model of efficiency, and she has typed up an account sheet outlining all the expenses and takings relating to the fête. I'll leave a few copies here on the desk for those of you who would like a closer look at the figures, and I'll just sum up the results by saying that we did better than ever. The committee will be meeting within the next week or so to discuss the matter of charity donations from this fund. However, before we continue with our evening, I would like to express our deepest sympathy to Jean. Looking across the room to speak directly to Jean, May said, "We are so sorry for your loss, Jean. I want to assure you of our continued support over the next few weeks and months." Then, turning to the main assembly, she continued, "Surely this is the reason why we meet, ladies, to care and support each other through life's ups and downs. So please make use of your friends here, all of you. Nobody should struggle unnecessarily." Jean looked distinctly uncomfortable at being the centre of attention, but awkwardly nodded her thanks to May and her nearest neighbours. Moving on with the agenda for the evening, May said, "I have sitting beside me Robin Denton from the Royal Horticultural Society, who is going to present a slideshow of highlights from the summer flower shows and explain the background to the RHS. Thank you, Robin." An enthusiastic round of applause encouraged Miss Denton to take the floor. "Thank you for your kind hospitality. I'm so pleased to be able to speak to you tonight about a subject which is very special to me. I hope you enjoy the subject as much as I do." The Chelsea Flower Show is perhaps the most well-known of our annual shows. This is most probably due to the fact that it is usually attended by members of the royal family, and this may also explain why it boasts the highest quality gardens and exhibits. Here is a picture of the Renaissance garden. She clicked the slide projector into life and showed some pictures and then continued with slides of the floral marquee. This next photograph shows the perfume garden, which hardly does the subject justice. It's a pity that technology can't provide scratch and sniff pictures for us here. The assembled ladies laughed obligingly and were evidently enjoying the subject. The Hampton Flower Show is situated just off the Thames, and the Long Water passes through the grounds of the show. It's a much larger show and the atmosphere is considerably more laid back. Maybe this is because we aren't expecting the surprise of an impromptu royal visit, or maybe it's because of the larger area and the exhibits can be much further apart. The greater space between the plots makes for more relaxed browsing. I myself prefer the hustle and bustle of Chelsea and the intimacy of being squashed close to the exhibits. Robin then began to explain the various trophies awarded with photographic evidence of each prize-winning exhibit and finalist. Categories included Best Show Garden, Best Courtyard Garden, and various junior trophies and scientific awards were illustrated. Nicola gained a few nudges of encouragement when the RHS floral arrangement trophies were shown. "You could do that easily," whispered Natalie conspiratorially into Nicola's ear. "Yours are just as good as those slides she's showing." Tatton Garden Show was whizzed through with eloquence, and the delights of the forthcoming autumn shows were hinted at. Robin ended her presentation by offering a round of Q&A before she finished. Not surprisingly, it was Kirsty who was the first to shoot her hand into the air. "Do you suffer much with plant pilfering? Not just during the shows, but generally in your public gardens too?" asked Kirsty. Robin shook her head and sighed dramatically. Ah yes, green collar crime. So unnecessary and such a problem. We employ our own form of a dedicated police constabulary in an attempt to prevent this from happening. But it doesn't stop people from trying. Wanton damage is always a problem, but I find it harder to bear when the damage is done by fellow gardeners. Betty gingerly raised her hand and asked, "Why does it matter so much? If it's just a small cutting, it'll grow back, won't it?" Those sitting next to her later said that she definitely had a guilty look on her face. "It may seem a petty state of affairs, but it really is a serious matter," said Robin. "Not only do you have to consider that if everybody kept snipping bits off a plant, there'd be no plant left, but you also need to bear in mind that just one ill-directed cut can kill a plant. This is especially true if a pruning is made at the wrong time of year or in the wrong place. It can be really harmful to the plant. It's like open heart surgery. It can even be true with trees too. If you cut the branches of a copper beech tree during the summer, a harmful sap is released and those branches may never grow back. If too much damage is done, the tree will just die. If you cut a plant at the wrong angle, water can settle into the cup and the plant will rot. I know of a case where a seed had been nurtured for almost a decade and it was grafted onto a host plant to bring it on. It takes a long time for the graft to establish, but it was ripped off by an uninformed enthusiast and it brought my friend to tears. A series of sympathetic groans from the audience could be heard later, and it was said that Betty blushed considerably under her rouge. Robin was no idealist though, and said, "Of course, we know that it happens, and there exists a complex unwritten code of honour when committing green collar crimes. Some protagonists even carry pruning shears around with them on the off chance, so that they don't harm a plant that they just can't resist pilfering from. Of course, it is accepted that if you're going to sneak a cutting, it has to be correctly done, not just randomly snipped. You need to know when in the season a little liberation can be managed. Out and out thievery is always a no-no. Never should you just dig up a plant outright. On the whole, it's always better to ask permission, but never hesitate to ask. Most gardeners are more than willing to share, but will get a bit proprietorial when somebody else is wielding the clippers." For the full book of Fête Fatale, available in paperback or as an ebook, follow the link in the cards in the description box or find details on my website at sharonbill.com. Thanks for listening.